charts. Hey folks, MasakoX here, and apologies for the bump on the noggin. That's one of the prices to pay when you're tall as me. Another tall order is, what are we gonna do with the Dragon Ball Super manga, eh? Because honestly, it's in the little bit of a precarious place. Well, for those of you who haven't been paying attention to the manga, that's fair enough, because as we've seen with Dragon Ball Superhero and the creators of said movie, that Akio Yoku, the second right-hand man to Toriyama, is basically saying there are now two canons. There's the anime canon and there's the manga canon. Doesn't really matter what they do, they can mix and match, they don't have to mix and match, they can do what they want. So there is one story, and then there's another one. So there you go. But that's not the point of today's video. The point of today's video is to talk about the manga, and why it's starting to sort of slip into mediocrity. It doesn't help where the main focus of this current story is not really going anywhere. It's sort of in a holding pattern. It was probably down to the delay of Dragon Ball Superhero. They probably had to extend it by a couple of months. It feels like it's been dragged out artificially. Sort of like how in the anime, the Tournament of Power saga was suddenly shortened because they got the announcement in January about the anime coming to an end in March. I can instantly tell. Episode 125 of the anime, you can tell that they had to go, quick, we gotta like wrap things up fast. Ah! There was clearly going to be something more. And in the manga, there is too much more. Because, seriously, the Bardock stuff, you could have cut that down by 2 chapters, seriously. I've got plenty of theories about that for other videos, but right here, what I'm about to show you is a clear and specific chart as to the current situation of the manga, courtesy of DBS Chronicles and Josuke, who came up with this delightful visual presentation. I had to actually look at it because, ooh, charts, I like me some statistics. And right here for you is the volume sales evolution of the Dragon Ball Super manga volumes up to volume 17. There is a volume 18 out there, and that's mainly about Bardock. And that might have done slightly better because it's got Bardock on the cover. It's like with YouTube thumbnails, algorithms, and stuff like that. Is that going to be a sustained bump? Hard to say. There is a pattern forming. There is volume 1, so that covered like the basics, the Beerus saga. Dragon Ball Super wasn't really in a good place at that time, for various reasons that I will not go into in today's video. Despite having a whole week, that's a little number in the corner, what that's about, it garnered maybe 30,000 sales. By the way, all this data comes from Oricon and Shoseki, based on certain figures and factors. Let's just be honest, it was mid. To be fair, it does improve as things pick up, and there was a little bit more interest in the anime when the Future Trunks saga came out, and then when this got into it, the manga version, it did really well because there was a clear and marked difference from Toriyama's notes. The Dragon Room and Toyotaro, they both go separate ways. The anime, we got a specific version of the Goku Black arc. The manga had its own. In the manga, there is no corrupted Zamasu. There's just many Zamasu contained blue. So that's like Goku with no ki. That's something I found really interesting. Like Mastered Super Saiyan Blue was where he didn't emanate any ki, so he wasn't wasting any. Vegeta being able to flit between Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, which made the manga quite compelling, and it's a very unorthodox method of doing it because usually it's the manga then the anime, like in the old Dragon Ball days. Here it was very different. But you can tell that at the end of the Goku Black saga, it did improve, and sales were very good. It's still in the top 50 of V-Jump for Dragon Ball Super, so it's not going to be going away anytime soon. It's not going to be canned, no matter what the sales do, because it's Dragon Ball, they can do that. Whether they should be doing that, that's for another topic, but as you can tell, there is a dip after that because the Future Trunks saga in the manga was interesting, but the Tournament of Power saga wasn't. You can tell that Toyotaro did not want to do it, and the anime version is clearly much better. For example, Krillin actually does stuff, where in 3 panels in the manga, Krillin is out of there. Ultra Instinct Roshi, anybody? And okay, one thing I will say that is going for it is that the Jiren in the manga is a bit more interesting, but that's really not saying much. It sort of is in a holding pattern after dropping, and the actual tournament itself is sort of like, it's doing okay, it's doing alright, it's holding steady, because there is an anime to compare it to. But the moment that the anime is gone, and you get the Moro saga, which is the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, it just comes down. It gets really slow before it picks up again towards the end, because naturally people want to know how it ends, and if people have been collecting it at this point, they want to know. By the time you get to near the end of the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, you're pretty much where you were at the beginning of the Goku Black arc, and that's meant to be the crescendo. So unlike Future Trunks, there is a clear marked difference of about maybe 20% in terms of a difference by the end of said arc. But even then, it's an original saga, and people who may be watching the anime aren't bothering with the manga, so for a manga-only interested audience, that's not terrible. But then you get to the Granolah the Survivor stuff, and it starts to just go like, bleh. Mainly just down to the fact that it's just not going anywhere. And I think it might be down to something. The Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc and the Granolah the Survivor arc, they're both manga original. But in the Moro saga, there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more interesting stuff happening. There are lots more characters fighting. People do stuff. Whereas in the Granolah saga, it's very, very localized to one planet with just a few fighters. Gas, Granolah, Goku, Vegeta. That's it. Not even Frieza's being involved. He noped out of the Moro saga, that's fair enough, but at least the Dragon Team got to do stuff. There was a little bit more dynamism in it, whereas in the Granolah stuff, if this had been just a couple of volumes like a smaller arc after the Moro one, that would have been fine. This would have been a good way of bringing in Granolah, having a little side story, a little bit more information about Bardock and the Saiyans out of context from a different planet, fine. That would have been okay. But no, it's almost as long as Moro, but it feels longer. So okay, I've talked about this in general, so as you can tell, this brilliant chart has just shown that there is a clear downtrend after the beginning of the Tournament of Power, that it's slowly trending downwards to the point where it might struggle to be in the top 50 and questions might have to be asked. Is Toyotaro's position in the whole situation safe or tenable? What can we do to fix this? Well, for a start, we need to have a type of saga where it's not overly dragged out, or it's going to have more characters involved. This is the thing that doesn't help either, is that Dragon Ball Super Superhero really has shown up the manga, because the whole point of Superhero was to fix a lot of the tropes that Dragon Ball is made fun of. The Saiyans doing everything, fixed. Gohan and Piccolo not doing anything, fixed. The Earthlings contributing stuff to the main story, tick. An Earth-based villain, which actually feels a little bit more grounded and tries to emulate past instances of Dragon Ball. Tick, 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 bish, bash, bosh. And the manga, that comes out a couple of weeks later, and does none of those things. Vegeta being the butt monkey again. That sort of rubbed salt in the wound. The fact that the movie is there, and Toriyama actually was responsible for the movie, and has actually done a really good job at giving the fans what they want. And quite clearly, the anime is doing a better job at getting the overall fandom hype. Because let's be real, the manga has its moments, but they're few and far between. Ultra Ego Vegeta being revealed, that got people hyped because that was a brand new form for Vegeta. And I love the idea of Ultra Ego. But it's now in the same category as Super Saiyan 3, in that it is very flashy, looks cool, doesn't really do anything. Hopefully that changes in the future, but quite clearly, the manga needs to take some leaves, ironically, out of Superhero's book and really take a gander at what the fans want. The fans want more characters doing stuff and being involved, for the Saiyans to actually take a back seat for once or realize their place, which is what we thought Goku was doing until he was dragged back into relevancy in chapter 83. Seriously, Goku looked like he was like gonna be a team player, and then that all fell apart. And really, we could do with Goku taking a back seat every now and again. I mean, he did that during the Android saga and the Cell saga. He wasn't really participating as much. I mean, of course, he had a little problem with his heart, understandably. And it seems quite clear what they're doing with the manga is that it follows the adventures of Goku and Vegeta. What does that tell you? Goku and Vegeta are the main focuses here, and everyone else is just window dressing. The manga seems like it's sort of just there. There's not really any peril of it being cancelled. There's no real danger of it being removed. So therefore, that brings in complacency. That, oh, just come up with a vague story, let Toyotaro figure it out, throw him under the bus if it doesn't work out, which is a bit unfair because he is improving. I just wanted to share this with you folks, that there is a problem here, and I think Superhero is making it worse. The manga needs to change. I want it to change. I want it to improve because it is a good time. Oh yeah, one other thing you could do to fix it. Don't make it monthly. At least fortnightly. Keeps the hype going instead of people reading it, then forgetting about it after a week, and then 3 days before the chapter comes out, and go, oh god, wow, I forgot about that. There you go. There's plenty of things that could be explored. Anyway, this is just my hot take on this. I just thought I'd share this with you because I do like myself some numbers, and I just thought it was interesting. There are clearly things that can be fixed with the manga. It's just whether people are going to be inclined to actually do it. Or is the anime and the movie kind of universe going to be taking on the weight of the hype, and the manga is just going to be left to just tread water. Anyway, I'll see you folks in the next video, and I hope you're doing well, and I shall catch you later.